So rental arbitrage is all about renting properties, renting apartments in my case, re-renting them as furnished rentals. So we're able to create a cash flow. Unlike when we buy a property, invest a massive down payment to the bank, 25%, and you're almost always fixing it up. They never ever come turnkey. And then filling it with furniture and then waiting. And it's going to take us decades to get our money back. And it's still a good investment because it's not about the cash flow. And buy and hold real estate investors, we're looking for equity of our asset over time and then tax benefits, right? A trickle of income is a benefit, is a bonus. With rental arbitrage, we're hijacking that whole system to get to the cash flow part of it. And that's what I was looking to do. I've launched 62 rental arbitrage properties. Every one of them I rent. I invested one time. What does that mean? I invested my initial investment, and when I got my money back after 6 weeks, I repeated that process over and over. I acquired 18 units my first year, 27 the second year, and so on to get to 62 properties. So I'm going to show you what the money math is behind it. It's all data driven. This entire model, it's why I only do apartment arbitrage, why single family homes do not work, why I rent the furniture, and why I always, every single time, I sign a corporate lease. A corporate lease is the key to this whole thing. You don't sign a residential lease, you're going to pay a full deposit. You're going to pay a first month's rent. With corporate lease, the risk is lessened by the owner, right? By its very nature, a company is less risk than an individual because a lot of the tenant laws don't apply. Little footnote there. And so corporate leases always come with rent concessions. So I'm going to run the numbers for you guys right now so you can see what works. I'm actually going to I'm going to look over an actual student deal. I'm going to talk about everything in the setup. So this is my tool. It's called Rentalizer.ai. It's a calculator. You could do this on a spreadsheet. You don't need a big fancy calculator like this. And actually for 4 years, that's exactly what I did. I did it on a spreadsheet. Did it on my spreadsheet. I give those away in my group. So here's what we're going to do. Firstly, we need to figure out how much are other hosts in this market going to earn? Now, I only rent 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartments. That's another video. I could talk all about my particular business model. And I actually have a very specific niche within the apartment arbitrage model, but that's not for today. Today's are the numbers. In one of my students' deals, there's a Canadian. He's doing it in Nashville. He's actually doing it in San Antonio. He's scaling like mad in this country. And this is how we do the numbers together. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment with a gym, hot tub, and pool, which you have to put in the calculator. And we're going to look for apartments that are just like that, apartments and condos in downtown Nashville. Now, the thing about comparable property analysis for all you real estate investors out there are two major factors. One, is it a geographical comp immediately around my property? So proximity is key. And in a densely populated market like downtown Nashville, it has to be one city block, maybe two, because if you go 3, 4, 5 blocks away, now we're bumping into from Broadway over to Music Row or West End or Vanderbilt neighborhood. We want a densely populated market. The more the merrier. The more competition, the merrier. By the way, I have another video out on that. Just you want more competition. You want the market to have already been validated. So we love Nashville. And I love markets just like it. I'm in San Diego. I'll show you where all the great markets are in a moment too, by the way. So here's what we're going to do. We're looking on a tool called airdna.co to find out how much are 2-bedroom, 2-baths earning. Simple. It's a real simple task. AirDNA allows you to list the submarkets of a city, not just the city. So if you look right now in downtown Nashville, the average revenue for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in downtown Nashville is $7,500. What we now do is we're actually going to look on their data and remove anything I don't consider a comp. If something is 5 blocks away, nope. If something is a vaulted ceiling condo with a great view, nope. If something is a townhouse, nope. We want 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartments. Some instances I will comp against a condo, but that's another story. But apartments at or below our standard. So let's do that. So here are the numbers. I've got them on my sheet here. 8342 was one comp. You click add. One of them was 7890. 7893 was one comp. And that comp, by the way, wasn't even using professional photos. So that's why they're so low. The other comp was 8531. And the other one, I think it's the same manager. It was 7765. Now, I won't get in the weeds on this, but all you have to do is look at your comps. And you can see, wait a minute, this guy's not using professional photos. He's not using dynamic pricing. He only is managing 2 properties. By the way, that's what this guy was. You could double click on their profile on Airbnb. And you could see how many listings they have. Here are the facts. According to AirDNA, 70% of amateur hosts, an amateur is a person with 2 units, by the way, or less, is not listing their property on more than 2 platforms, Airbnb and Vrbo. So they're making a massive mistake. And so we're going to beat them easily. We'll go eat their lunch. So there are 4 comps. You don't need more than that. You need 4, 5, or 6, something like that. So that's it. So it's telling us our 2-bedroom, 2-bath is going to make $81.33. Makes sense. By the way, be sure the student that I'm talking about makes over $8,300. The average around $7,500. Okay, so that's what we know. So like, all right, the gross monthly revenue was going to 80. That's part of the equation. That's not what we care about. We care about profit. So your next factor is, what are the monthly expenses? So his rent's a little bit on the high side. You can look right now on rentometer.com and find out what the average rent in downtown Nashville is, $2,500. Now, he's paying above market. It's kind of breaking my model. I actually go below market, but this is a beautiful building. I actually visited. It has a waterfall and a pool and a gym. The gym looks like an Equinox in like a major city. It's beautiful. And so my calculator calculates even our fees, 2.9% for MasterCard, Visa, and all that stuff, maybe 3% for Airbnb. The maintenance is 0. We're renters. The power and electricity in this market is $135. Now, about that, you can go right onto Google, better yet, ChatGPT, and say, hey, what's the average rent bill for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and name the market. And it will give it to you. It's very accurate. I tested it. We've been doing it this way for months. Water and sewer, nothing. We're renters. Internet in this market was $76. The license in this is $330 a month. What is that, everybody? That's $25 a month, $330,000 a year. So amortize that. You are going to pay that up front, though. And the insurance, let's go high. Proper Insurance is the insurance company. It's the Rolls Royce, or the Cadillac Escalade, I should say, for renters insurance for what we do. Right? In fact, I think it's the only game in town. You can go out and get one of those retail insurance companies for like $12, like Lemonade. Don't do that. Go high. And then the software, there's 2 pieces of software you're going to need. You're going to need a property management software like Hospitable, it's $40 a month. And then another one like Price Labs, which is $40 a month, which is pricing software. You're going to need it. Pay it. Don't skimp. Pricing software makes you money. So let's say that's $80 conservatively. And now the big question of the day, are you going to rent or buy furniture? Rent the furniture. Use a company named Court. Now here is Court Furniture Rental. Fantastic. All you're going to do is plug up in here the name of your city, Nashville, Tennessee. The term that we're going to put on it is 12 months, $595. Now, the reason why I'm putting $730 in my sheet, because I'm a conservative guy, so I'm going to estimate. Let's just say you're really conservative. You're like 6 months. We're going to do the 6 months. We're going to wait and see. $735 is what we're going to do. Let's do it. Always run your comps conservatively, by the way. So $735 furniture rental. Yes, sure, it's less profitable. But here's the thing. If it's as profitable as this unit is in Nashville, and you can get 3 units for half of the price of 1 furnished unit that you're going to buy furniture, no brainer, right? So it took me a minute to get over that. So we're going to go after furniture rental. So now our picture is getting clearer. The net profit is now $3,956. Fantastic. My range typically is between $2,000 and $4,000. It's most likely going to be in the $2,500-ish area, depending on the markets. But this market is pure fire. There's a construction boom that's been going on in Tennessee, Texas, and Florida, and we see a ton of inventory. So now it's a buyer's market, or as we call it, a renter's market. And this is the way to do it. Gross monthly revenue is going to be $8,000. Your net profit is going to be $4,000 because your expenses are just above about $4,000. But now what's the other really big question is, how much is my investment? So here's the other kicker. You will never, ever pay first month's rent ever in a corporate lease. If a corporate leasing company says, hey, we want you to pay your first month's rent, run. Don't do it. Of every single one of my units, I never paid a full deposit. I always got rent concessions. And deposits range from $0 to up to $500 in a corporate lease. In this deal, it was $300, which is about on par. Miscellaneous. So the photographer was around $200, $250. They come in on Thursday. We moved it on a Wednesday. The housekeeper comes in and puts the linens on and everything. Keep in mind, Court Furniture Rental did the entire setup. And so we are going to need someone that we hired on TaskRabbit to coordinate that, to let them in and go, hey, that goes there, that goes here. We have a plan for that. $800 miscellaneous cost. First month's rent is free. $300 security deposit and $735 for your furnishings first month. your investment, if you want to call it that, is $1,800. Now, Bishoy took 3 of these suckers. That's a $5,000 investment. Where in the world can you invest anything, $5,000 in anything, and get $4,000 per unit, $12,000 a month in net profit? Now, let me just put a little footnote. This is an extremely good deal. I'm in San Diego. We have some good deals here. Not as good as that. Fort Lauderdale, good deal. Santa Fe, New Mexico, good deal. San Antonio, this student actually has a 5-unit deal in San Antonio. Sarasota. So I know all the markets. And here's the other thing. 90% of the cities in the United States, rent of apartments exceeds 50% of what you could earn. So most of this, at least my model, wouldn't work there. My job, your job, if you're a rental arbitrage, is find markets where this works. And a calculator is the quickest way to do that. What a calculator does this. It not only tells you what you're going to earn, it also tells you where not to mess around. It's going to say, don't mess with that market. You're not going to get 50%. This is a 300%. Well, this is not quite 300%, but in general, paying rent of $2,500 and earning gross revenue $7,500 is a 3x multiple. Obviously, it's around half once you take your expenses out of it, but this is how you make your comps. So I hope this helps clear up how you can get your earnings. Now, it's not this easy. First of all, the vast majority of most people are doing rental arbitrage wrong. They're looking at the wrong model. They're looking at single family homes. Buy houses to rent them, but rent apartments. Don't rent houses. They're awfully expensive. They're seasonal. The landlord may kick you out after a year and do it himself. And cities are targeting houses. They don't want that. They allow apartments in commercial zones, and just like in Nashville. So this is exactly how you do it using the Rentalizer calculator, or you can use a spreadsheet calculator if you have one. Hope that helps. Join my free workshop this week. I'm going to show you how to start, automate, and scale your rental business. I'm going to show you how you can go get your first property, start cash flowing in 60 days. So tap the link, save your seat, and mark your calendar.